You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 205. So today we are joined on the Small and Supercharged podcast by Rachel Barnett, who you may know a lot better as Ray or as Ray the Goth. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's nice to be here.
I know, and thanks to Zoom, it's just an easy part of the day, isn't it? I do love a good podcast. I love a good chat.
Yeah, it's easy, like if you're doing your stable chores or riding or whatever, just to stick a podcast on.
Too right, absolutely. It helps the time pass a lot quicker. Even driving, love a podcast when I'm driving. So, can you tell us a bit about you and what you do and your lovely, lovely horse?
Okay. So yeah, I'm Ray and I am a mother of one. So I've got my little daughter Hazel, and I also have my horse Pepper, who everyone knows as the Cobbler of Fire.
Love that.
She is my first horse, but is 100% my heart horse. Like, she definitely came into my life for a reason and has given me some amazing opportunities and really made me into the rider and the person that I am today. So I'm very grateful to have her in my life. And she's the whole reason that I have my Instagram account, really.
I was going to say, what got you started on social? Because you've got really, really sizable accounts now on Instagram, YouTube. You're on TikTok as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, well, what made you go from just sort of, I just want to not keep my journey a secret, but what made you sort of think, I want to really amplify my message and get myself and the very beautiful Pepper out there?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it, like, partly it's my generation is, a very media heavy generation. I grew up with the first sort of computers and all the rest of it. And I think it was just a natural progression. I started on MySpace and went onto Facebook, Bebo. And then YouTube came along in 2005, and I actually started my account with them in 2006. So wow. I've had my YouTube account for a very long time.
Wow, you're the original. Was it the OG people say, who are far cooler than I am on all the platforms? Has it always been horsey content you've shared, or has it been a variety of different things?
No, I've kind of shared a variety of things. I just sort of watched what other people were doing, and I enjoyed watching animated music videos that people used to do. So they would put clips of like movies or whatever to music. And I ended up doing that for a little while. And then I guess I kind of used it as my horsey fix, because I didn't have a horse in my life. I wasn't able to afford riding lessons at the time. So I think that was my way of letting my crazy horse girl side just be free on the internet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of progressed from there. I started with little videos of just like pictures of horses going to music, and then sort of using clips from big events and things and editing them to music. And eventually I saw that other people had started vlogging, and at first I didn't think it was a bit of me. I was like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about being in front of the camera. But I just started doing it, and I just got into it and really started enjoying it. And everyone said that I'm quite a natural in front of the camera, which is nice.
Definitely. Absolutely. Very kind of approachable. I like the way you talk, as in I can, some people, I think when they turn the camera on them, they seem to become a completely different person, and it's all sort of smiles and, not saying that you're not all smiley, but I feel like we see the real side of you on your videos.
Yeah.
And then what happened when you got Pepper? Because you said she really sort of helped you take it to another level.
Yeah. So I'd already had an Instagram account, which I was just using for just general life, really, just as everyone else used it. And then when I got Pepper, I just was taking so many pictures and videos of her. I was like, I've got to put them somewhere. And slowly but surely people started following the journey. And it just kind of sailed on from there, really.
Really fab. And what's your following now on Instagram? I went off down a rabbit hole of basically your saddle pad collection when I was just getting all the stats together.
Yeah, that saddle pad collection's getting a bit out of control now.
No, you are a collector, not a hoarder. You're a collector. It's completely
I like that.
different.
I wonder if my husband would agree.
You'll have to just try. I think
Yeah, so I've got 22,000 followers now on Instagram.
and you've also got a really sizable following over on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
How does that sort of make you feel when you, I think, because so many, well, just like your good self, you start your account at nothing and then you get to a point you think, oh my crikey, that's a lot of people. How has that sort of changed your relationship with it as time's gone on?
I don't think I'd really noticed it. It's very difficult for a person to imagine that many people unless you were to physically see them. But I think it kind of came to a realization when I was getting recognized at shows last year.
Oh wow.
And that was like people wanted to come up and take pictures with me, which was really crazy. I'm kind of getting used to it now, but that was like quite a shock when it first happened.
But lovely, and really just show that you're, I think sometimes, as you say, it's very difficult to visualize that many people, and people double tap, or often people don't double tap or comment, but then to have those people come up to you, you know that what you're putting out there, your kind of messages, your voice is being seen and heard, and helping and working with some people as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So why are you Ray the Goth rather than Ray, I don't know, Ray and Pepper? Because I know you were recently did a question, didn't you, about potentially changing your name?
Yeah, so going back to when I started my YouTube channel, obviously it prompted me to give a username, and I didn't know what to put in, but at the time I was at high school. I didn't like to be called Rachel because there were so many Rachels in my year, because it was such a popular name in the 90s, thanks to Friends.
Yeah.
And I just told everyone to start calling me Ray, and I was going through a goth phase at the time. Which I guess that is still part of me anyway. I just don't dress that way anymore, but I still like my heavy metal.
Fair enough.
So that's how the username came along. And yeah, I have debated changing it, but every time I ask my followers, everyone says no, like it's iconic now, everyone knows you as that. And
definitely,
I was worried about how it might affect me working with brands and things, but it obviously hasn't. So
no, I was going to ask you about that really, and about about working with brands, kind of what that's brought you. I kind of have best opportunities written down on my notes, but what have you really enjoyed, been surprised about from your Instagram and from your social media sort of career, and the opportunities it's brought you? What have you loved? What have you been surprised has arrived at your door?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. Well, one of the biggest surprises for me was to go and visit Lister Clipping at Windsor last year, and I just kind of got chatting to their media marketing manager and showed her my account and stuff, and we had a laugh at when I turned Peps when I gave her a dinosaur mane.
Yes.
And yeah, I just explained that I'd bought a pair of Lister clippers secondhand and slowly used them to desensitize Peps to the clippers and everything. And then the next week I got a message from them asking if I wanted to be a brand ambassador, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Wow. And also to be part of Bed Down's brand ambassadors as well, and to have that support, I'm saving money as well, by being supported by them, and it all helps, especially when your horse likes to get vet bills quite regularly.
Yes.
Like mine. And they've just been an amazing support, and having the opportunity to have a lesson with Simon Grieve eventing through them as well. I would never have expected to do something like that. Little old me on my cob.
Don't knock cobs. I'm a massive cob fan. I've got a two-tone one. The Coblet of Fire would definitely suit her as a name as well. She is sassy as, but I adore her and her attitude problem. So on to sort of slightly more depressing subjects now. What do you hate about social? Because I think when you put yourself out there, there's always things that just are not pleasant about social media. what kind of experiences have you had, and what what have definitely kind of been the lows along your journey?
I've had some awful experiences. I actually once had a group of girls, they were bullying me online about Peps being overweight. And they ended up calling World Horse Welfare out on her. Yeah, so that was a shock to me. And I just happened to be at the yard when the lady from World Horse Welfare came down, and I took her out to the field to show her what she looked like. And she was really like pleased by her. She said, "Oh, she's lovely. Like, what breed is she?" She was asking me loads of questions. I showed her what I was feeding her to try and, I was soaking her hay and the certain feeds I was giving her to try and manage her weight. And she was like, "Well, you're doing everything right." And it really angered me, because they could have been putting their time into an actual welfare case.
Yeah.
And that was all because I'd, like, you can tag locations on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd obviously put the yard I was at the time came up underneath. So that's how they knew where I was. So now I don't do that anymore.
No, oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and then just obviously being a plus size rider, I think because not many other plus size riders put themselves out there because of the taboo about them. People aren't used to seeing that, and I don't think they know how to respond. And sometimes it's positive, and I get so many more positive messages about, like, "Thank you for putting yourself out there. I don't feel alone anymore. I feel like I can do things on my horse that I didn't think I could do. I've started lessons because I've seen you riding." Like, so many wonderful messages. And then I also do get comments about my riding or my weight, and the the most common one is like, "Poor horse." I was like, this horse is treated like a queen, like, does not go without anything. So there's no poor horse about it. And I think I've just had to learn how to have that faith in myself and the professionals who work with us. I'm always open and honest with them. I'll ask them questions. I've asked if I'm too heavy. I've asked my vet. I've asked her physio. And you do kind of start to doubt yourself as well. But I'm not a professional rider. I don't put myself out there and advertise myself as one. I'm learning, and we all make mistakes, and we're all trying to, I'm still trying to figure out how to ride. And I'm having lessons and things. And I just think people need to be a bit more kind and realize that it is a journey, and we've all, we're all at different stages, and that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's always so vexing about these kind of negative comments on social media, is that that person was stood in front of you, they wouldn't have I was going to say balls, let's go balls, to sort of say
audacity.
Yeah. Just to be honest and have a discussion with you. Although equally that, I think it's just something that people really need to moderate themselves on, and realize how potentially very, very hurtful it is.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I've got a pretty hard shell, and I don't let it really get to me. I tend to just remove comments and block people now, because it's just not worth my time or energy. But there have been certain times in my life, like when they did call World Horse Welfare out on me, I was having a really tough time. Like, my father-in-law had just been diagnosed with cancer. We were trying for a baby. I was having like a crisis with my career and stuff, and it's
the last thing you needed.
It was the last thing I needed. And that's what people need to realize, is that you have no idea what that person might be going through. And I don't know about them, but I would not be able to live with myself if I found out that someone had done something to themselves because of something I'd said, No,
and I think I've definitely seen examples of that happen, in the broader sense of the use of social media. I mean, there's been some horrific stories where people have, taken their own lives and things because of online bullying. And because it's online, it doesn't make it any less real. But moving forward to the positives, obviously you
Mhm.
said that you have lots of people reach out to you, and thank you for, you know, putting yourself out there and how much it's inspired and encouraged them. And I imagine
Yeah.
as well, you know, when you get those comments from people, I know I've had it very, you know, very differently about, like, you know, well, they've learned a tip about social media and they've, you know, engaged with somebody and they didn't know it worked. It's like, that's really changed my day. And for me, anything that I can do that helps people in any way, I'm really thrilled with. It really makes me think, yes, it's worth the hours of social media planning and the all this stuff. And it must be really lovely when people say, because of you, they have done something different, or it's given them extra confidence, or they've tried something.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't still be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for those people. So if you are listening and you've sent me a message like that, thank you so much. Because it has helped me to power through the negative stuff. The opportunities that have come to me, I still don't believe that people want to work with me. I don't have a lot of belief in myself, and I still, like, even though I do have that large following, I guess you kind of can sometimes compare yourself to other accounts that have more followers or that seem to be doing more than you, and I don't feel as significant. But yeah, clearly people do, you know, enjoy watching my content and interacting with me, and I'm really happy with that.
Definitely. And I think we do all fall into this comparison trap, and we look at what other people are doing and we think, oh, you know, or we listen to what people are saying, or we read their captions and they're painting a picture of, you know, sunshine and rainbows, and we're not in that sunshine and rainbows bit. But the thing with social is there is always a filter applied to everything that we
Yeah.
read and say. And that perhaps that I think can have quite a damaging effect of making people feel a lot worse. Which isn't a positive side of it, but I think it is the truth.
Yeah.
So thinking, obviously a lot of your followers are perhaps people who want to work with brands, who want to do more influencing, who want to grow their account.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips or anything that you could share with them that would help them to do that, or how you've achieved, you know, what you have so far?
It's funny you should mention that, because I was talking about that in a vlog yesterday.
Oh right.
um,
I haven't seen
yeah.
that yet.
No, I was just filming it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But I would say, like, if you do happen to go to these big horse shows, do like what I did, go and approach Lister or any brands that, you know, you enjoy using. Go and talk to the people behind the brands and let them see a face to your account.
Yeah.
And just get talking to them about how their product benefits you or your horse, or, you know, that I think that really does help. And I've spoken to quite a lot of brands and built up quite good relationships with them by doing that.
Yeah.
Also, just if you fancy working with someone, just message them. The worst they'll say is no.
Yeah.
And even you can try messaging them 1 year and then come back to them the next year, and they might have capacity to have you on as a brand ambassador where they didn't the year before. Just keep on being active on their posts, you know, reacting to their posts and commenting and being supportive of the brand. And just keep putting yourself out there. I think people can get a bit downtrodden with, like, view count or things like that. And the thing with that is you've just got to keep on putting content out there. Instagram and YouTube and everything goes up and down with algorithms anyway, changing or whatever. So
Yeah.
don't get too, like, bogged down with numbers. People are still seeing your posts, they're still interacting with them. So just keep on doing that and you will slowly grow.
Definitely. I think what you said is really good as well. If from a brand point of view, the ones that clients that I work with do tend to work with the influencers and people as brand ambassadors of those who have got that relationship with them, because as you say, it might be that they've allocated their budget, they've allocated their product for that season, for that year, but people that sort of stick around and who genuinely like the products, like the services, they're the ones that come to the front of your mind when you are thinking of the next campaign or the next season.
Yeah.
I think many people will sort of like post for a week, then ask for the contents of the warehouse, and then when they get a no, they just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen quite a lot. And from a brand point of view, brands do look at this stuff.
Yeah.
And what we're all looking for are people who genuinely like the product, who we think we can work with. and we think we can work for everybody's benefit, not just the brands. I think that's an important part as well.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, that you are going to be representing the brand, so they've got to be particular about who they choose.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from another side of it as well, going to people at shows is something that's quite unusual in the best possible way. Brands get so many direct messages, emails. Some are really, really poor, like sponsor me. That can be the entire thing. And you, as a good influencer, a good ambassador, you've got to compete with all that stuff as well in that crowded, busy inbox with people making requests that would never be considered. But you going up to someone at an event and talking to them about how much you love their products or how you use their products, that's a really unusual, different way of reaching out to them. Like, you are going to make an impression from that, which is brilliant. So they're really, really great tips, really, really useful tips, that I think will, hopefully anyone that's listening will take those on board, because they're absolutely spot on. But sort of looking ahead, what's to come for Ray the Goth and the lovely Goblet of Fire? What can we expect to see?
I don't really know what I want to do. I'm just kind of enjoying doing what I'm doing at the moment. I would like to just keep putting YouTube content out there. In an ideal world, I would love that to be my career. I'd love that to be my full-time job. So that's kind of one of the aims. And now that Peps has had her ulcer treatment and she seems to be going really, really well at the moment, I just want to get out there and have fun with her, not necessarily competing, but going to the beach and doing fun things with her, making the most of my time with her.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's your favorite platform?
Well, my least favorite is TikTok.
Okay, how come it's your least favorite?
There's a lot of unoriginal content. So a lot of people just kind of rip off an original idea, which I've never liked. I always try my best to be, even if I do jump on a trend, I try my best to put my own spin on it. Whereas some people will just film exactly the same as what someone else did just to get views. So I don't like that side of it. It is also very, very toxic, and I've had so many hate comments on there.
Really?
Where it's such a busy platform as well, I think there's just more eyes on you. So I guess it just comes with the territory. But yeah, I love my Instagram. I think Instagram's probably my favorite.
No, Instagram's good. But it's such a shame that, as you say, TikTok is from your point of view so toxic, because it's I think that these short fun videos are exactly that. They can be short and fun, but then we've got to deal with the people who consume them and then decide that that's a good excuse to be unpleasant, which is never good.
Well, I think a lot of it is there's also a lot of children on there using the app,
right?
And I think that there's that level of immaturity as well to it, and that's why you kind of get those comments.
I get you.
I think more often than not it's like uneducated younger people leaving the comments, but it doesn't mean it's any less hurtful.
No, completely. Is there anything else you would like to share before I ask you all the places we can find you on all the platforms that you're on?
I think you've just got to learn to believe in yourselves. Life's too short. You need to grab the bull by the horns, and just, if you want something, just try and take it. I'm kind of delving into that sort of positive mindset thing at the moment, like, what's it called, affirmations and things like that. Just to try and have a more positive outlook on life and not let negativity get to me, and just enjoy time with horses. Like, at the end of the day, we're all in it because we love these animals, and it's such a shame that people try to ruin it for other people. They're such good therapy. They're so good for your mental health. They're so good for your physical health. So if you want to be around them and you want to enjoy them, don't let anyone hold you back from that. If you're in a place that is toxic, that's making you feel unwelcome, move somewhere else, and just enjoy life, because it is fleeting.
I love that. Words to live by. No, I love that though. I think you're absolutely right. We worry so much about what people think or what people might think, and that can stop us from having the most incredible experiences and learning things and the most amazing opportunities for what somebody who we don't who really we wouldn't ask their advice, but yet their opinion can really stick in us and throw us off course.
Yeah, definitely.
So can you tell us all the places where people can find you online?
Yes, so I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under the username Ray the Goth.
I like that. Simple, and it's the same one in each place.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Ray. It's been so lovely to speak to you, and I can't wait to see what you and Pepper get up to.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to have a little chat.